Hello, welcome back to my channel, or alternatively, if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. It's been about a week and a bit since I last uploaded, which is really great considering I said that I was going to daily vlog. Since I'm feeling on daily vlogging, let's just do a sit down video and I'll tell you what I got up to during the week. I went to the signing of Louise Pentland's book, Wilde Like Me, which is actually behind me here. Well placed amongst all my craft supplies. So I went to the signing in Glasgow in Sauchiehall Street in Waterstones on Thursday night and heard a bit about what Louise had to say about the book. I'd actually already bought the book. I bought a signed copy and then I kind of went up to her to get it signed and I was like, oh, I've actually already had my copy signed. I think it confused her a bit because this is what happened. She just started writing Louise at the top and ended up writing an L, so she did this because it's already signed. So, and then she was like, no, I've ruined this book, I've ruined it. So she just called for somebody to get another book. So I now have two books, one of which is signed like this. So I have two books, but anyway, I digress. I have read the book. So I got it just the day after it came out. I'd pre-ordered it and I read it over the weekend. And I have some thoughts, not only about the book itself, about how much I enjoyed the book, kind of frustrations I had with the character, but also about writing a book as a YouTuber and marketing that book to a different demographic than the people who follow you on YouTube. Because something I found when I was listening to Louise talk and while I was looking around the room at everybody else who had kind of turned up for this book signing event, one thing I thought was, these are all very young people who are here, and that's fine, but the book itself is it's about a character called Robin Wilde who she's a single parent. She has a 6-year-old daughter, and it's about her feelings of kind of loneliness and stuff, being on her own and how she deals with that, and also she's kind of looking for love again. So it's just, there's like dating things in it, and there's lots of like little stories and little comments in it that's very kind of relatable. For me, being a single parent, being a mum, being an adult, and I just felt like, as much as I would never say that, teenage girls can't read women's fiction, of course they can, I'm not going to stop anybody reading, but I just find it really strange that they'd be reading something that they're probably not going to relate to. So it was really weird seeing like all these kind of younger girls there. There was actually, I saw a dad come in with like two very young girls, like maybe about 12, who'd obviously come to it just because Louise is a YouTuber, so they'd come to see her in the capacity of YouTuber rather than author. And it must be frustrating for her when she's trying to market this book as a women's fiction book. So it was kind of strange. So there was a Q&A when we went, and so there was a little kind of interview first, and somebody from Waterstones was interviewing her. That was all fine, and then they kind of opened up the floor to everybody who was there to ask questions. And half the questions were about the book, which was great, and then the other half of the questions were things like, who would you most like to collab with? What's your favourite YouTuber book? Louise was like, oh, I couldn't possibly say, who my favourite YouTuber's book was. What do you think? To the girl who asked. And the girl kind of said, oh, Dan and Phil. And you can see Louise's face just kind of go, yeah, she just wants to talk about Dan and Phil. And then later on somebody else asked, like, who would you like to collab with most? And again, she kind of didn't specifically say. She was just like, oh, who do you like seeing me collab with? And again the answer was Dan and Phil. And Louise kind of went, Dan and Phil and Zoella, if you have them on your channel, are great views, and kind of made a joke out of it. But I just thought, that's not why she's here, and it must be really frustrating being a creator who then wants to be creative in other ways and market that at a completely different audience, then to go to events based on that and have people talk about your YouTube channel and who you want to collab with, and ultimately bring the conversation back around to Dan and Phil, because obviously their fandom is so huge. Their fans are so passionate that they want to hear about Dan and Phil all the time. And yes, I understand that Louise does know them and does collab with them. I've watched collabs with them myself. One of my favourite videos between Louise and Dan is a story about how they went to the restaurant and it was an absolute nightmare. I love it. I do love their collabs, but I was there to talk about her book and to hear about her book and not to hear about her YouTube channel. I don't know. Maybe it was just me, but this is just my thoughts on the situation. But I enjoyed the book. I got about 3/4 of the way through and I was phoning my mum and I was like, this character's really annoying me, this book is really annoying me, because the character, she just keeps doing blah 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 thing, which I don't want to spoil the book, but she kept doing something. I was like, why is she doing that? Or she's speaking to such and such this way, and why? She was really annoying me and I get really annoyed at the book. But then listening to Louise talk about it, she intentionally wrote it that way, obviously, and so I think it was well done. But it's very real, very relatable. It's more real a book than any other sort of women's fiction of the same kind of category that I've read. So that is my that's my review of the book. I'm such a great book reviewer. I hope you enjoyed that kind of different, just little chat about demographics, and I know I've kind of been doing a lot of this with my hands. The kind of different demographics and just some of my thoughts about what it must be like to want to change your demographic and have alt kids show up. I don't know, I just found the father coming in with like the two 12-year-old girls really strange, because one of the things that Louise said not long after that was talking about kind of walking around with your house coat on with a period stain on it, and I thought, 12-year-old's not really going to get this, they just want to ask her about Dan and Phil. It was just a bit odd. But it was lovely to meet Louise. She was very nice, and yeah, it was a good little night out. I enjoyed the book. Go and buy it. I'll see you all next time. Bye!